Here at the Point, agnostics, atheists, humanists, and seekers gather in this community for inspiration and community. And you're going to be inspired this Sunday because it is our Coming of Age Sunday, and our ninth graders who've been working on their "This is what I believe" statements, their credos, are going to be sharing that with us today. You know, none of us have to go it alone in this world. No matter what you believe or don't believe or where you come from, you are welcome here and you are loved. So welcome to this special service. My name is Nicole Kirk. I am the program minister. Up here on the stage this morning is Marlon Lavanhar and Randy Lewis, and we are so delighted that you are with us this morning. A special welcome to our online viewers and everywhere members on this special Sunday. We are so glad that you have joined us. Now, if you are a newcomer, a first-time guest, new to All Souls, we want to give a special welcome to you, and our ushers have a gift for you. Our ushers are going to be coming down the aisles, and so if you raise your hand to let us know that you are a first-time visitor, our ushers can find you in the crowd and give you that gift. So raise your hand so that they can see you. Now for something completely different but so related, the announcements. All right, and I have to say, someone gave me a beautifully annotated with doodles bulletin this morning, and it says, "Celebrate life with cake," which we'll be having after service. So that's an announcement on its own. One of the traditions of this place is to give our offering away to an organization that's doing good works in the world, an organization that's out in our community. We do this as a practice of living our values of love and service. This morning's offering is part of the Coming of Age Sunday, because every year on Coming of Age Sunday, we ask our Coming of Age class to choose the recipient of the offering. So this morning's choice, they selected the Tulsa Roughneck Roller Derby Association. Yeah, which is a part of the Women's Flat Track Derby Association as well. I forgot my roller skates, but just imagine me up here in roller skates. So the Tulsa Roughneck Roller Derby Association has remained steadfast in their commitment to equity and inclusion, boldly pushing back against legislation that excludes trans athletes. In a time when inclusion is under threat, yeah, we know this. When inclusion is under threat, they have created space at the roller derby where all players, regardless of where they fall in the gender spectrum, can compete and thrive. One of our youth has been selected for the United States World Cup team this summer in Australia. So, yeah. So let us give generously to help our local athletes and the U.S. team compete and keep the inclusive spirit rolling strong. Now, if you are, after that, if you aren't a member yet, maybe this is the Sunday for you to join. And after this service at 12:45 in room 203, that's your chance to join All Souls for one of our membership classes. I hope that we see you up there. We have a lot of programming and services planned for the rest of the month of April. Please join us next Sunday for our Alzheimer's workshop. Please register for lunch and childcare. And if you don't want lunch and you don't need childcare, you can still just come to the program. But if you like lunch and you need childcare, you're going to register. Corey will be there. That's excellent. We also have a fabulous opportunity by our green team this Wednesday, April 16th. They're hosting an Earth Week vegan dinner during our Wednesday connections. That's 5:30 to 6:30 on Wednesday nights. Our regular sliding scale is in operation, and they're going to have a program after that vegan dinner from 7 to 8 entitled Our Power, Our Planet. What if we get it right? Learn about local conservation efforts and connect with others who care about the planet. Now, Easter at All Souls is full of activities, starting with a Good Friday Tenebrae service on April 18th. And then on Sunday, we also offer communion. But here, listen up. There's something important for that service. If Easter, you're a humanist, you're like, I don't want to do the typical thing, come here, be here 11:30. We have a special sermon for you on that Sunday. So that's going to be great. We also have a regular 10 o'clock service, Easter worship service at 10, the Point Humanist service at 11:30. I'll be preaching that service. Marlon Lavanhar will be speaking at the 10 a.m. service. And between the services, listen up, that's the Easter egg hunt. So, that's the place that I've been waiting for all year. So we look forward to joining us on this very special upcoming Sunday. And for more information on these events and upcoming in April, check out your order of service, check out the website, and check out all the places. Ask the folks for the information you need. We'd love to see you here and have you be a part of it. And now, we gratefully receive our offering for the Tulsa Roughneck Roller Derby Association.
Text, or you can send it fax. What is a fax? Thank you, Corey.
Thank you.
Corey, that's right.
I am Shannon Boston, your religious educator, and you can call me. Text is best. I would like to see a show of hands. Who here has ever seen a baby dedication at All Souls? Lots and lots of you. I was dedicated here as a baby, as a child at All Souls 50 years ago. And as I look out at some of these children, I remember, actually at some of these adults too, when you were dedicated, but you may not remember. So I wanted to remind you about this ceremony when one of our ministers takes this little baby into their arms or lays their hand on their head. And they have a white rose and they touch the rose to the child's eyes. And they say, "May your eyes see beauty." And then they touch the rose to the baby's mouth, and they say, "May your lips speak truth." And then they touch it to their chest, and they say, "May your heart know love." And then they touch the rose to the baby's hands, and they say, "May your hands do the good works of this world all the days of your life." Now later, the ministers look at the parents and the grandparents, and they say to them, "When this child reaches the age of discretion, bring them back to this church so that they can say from their own hearts that they confirm the meaning and the purpose of this ceremony. Today is that day for this class of coming-of-agers. They have reached the years of discretion. They have come back to confirm their values and beliefs. And so today we've given each of them a white rose to remind them of that ceremony years ago and to connect this day with that. I would ask you to join me in thanking this year's coming-of-age teachers, Miss Janet Adams-Westcott, Brandy Phillips, Jared Sickles, Kayla Calvert, and our youth director, Corey Smith. And I now invite Corey to give you a few words.
Good morning, church. To quote William Ellery Channing, the great end in religious education is not to stamp our minds upon the young, but to stir up their own. This is, in essence, coming of age. It's an intensive 8-month spiritual journey for our youth during a formative juncture in their lives. Our wonderful facilitators provide guidance as our participants determine who they are as individuals and, more importantly, what they believe spiritually. The program culminates every spring with each youth crafting a personal statement of belief, a credo. In Latin, credo translates directly to "I believe." And for us, credo writing and formulating their beliefs started on Back to School Sunday. It is here where we began introducing church-wide themes, along with different theologies and different beliefs. It is also here where we began our spiritual journey together. That is, faith formation in a loving, all-inclusive space. The Coming of Age program focuses on historic and modern Unitarianism and Universalism, Christianity, world religions, all souls as an institution, and more importantly, looking inward into their own souls. Unitarian Universalist youth go through this rite of passage in a similar way that their peers may go through a bar mitzvah, a bat mitzvah, maybe a confirmation. Instead of a creed-based religion where beliefs are prescribed by an external authority, ours is a religion founded on and rooted in individual religious authority. To further this faith's development, every spring we travel to the Unitarian city, Boston, Massachusetts. Here, we get to experience how Unitarian Universalism, our UU history, and especially U.S. history are all intertwined, including the founding of the United States. For instance, did you know that the Declaration of Independence was signed at Federal Street Church, which is now Arlington Street Church, which is the home of William Ellery Channing? See how that works? Just one of the many special opportunities to articulate and develop their credos on this very special trip. Instead of reading or reciting excerpts from ancient texts as other faiths do when confirming their youth, here at All Souls, we give our young people the opportunity to speak the truth from their hearts, from this pulpit, before this beloved congregation. So, today, you will hear these wonderful expressions of belief, and in them, find that reassurance that freedom of belief and diversity live on in this congregation. Out of the respect for the integrity of this service and the importance of these statements to the individuals who crafted them, we ask that you refrain from applause after each credo and instead take a moment to silently contemplate with some snaps. After the service, please take a moment to greet each youth personally in the foyer and tell them if they have touched your soul as much as they all have touched mine. We will also have celebratory cake in Emerson Hall after the service if you're so inclined. Thank you so much for supporting the Coming of Age class, and we hope that you enjoy the service. Now, huzzah!
I would invite our children in 5th grade and younger, if they would like to come to Sunday school, they are invited to.
Twist it away like that. Is it on? Okay. Hello, my name is Charlie, and this is my credo. I believe in the power of knowledge and that we all should learn from everything we can. We need to ask questions and learn from every religion we can find. Ask questions about their beliefs, learn their lessons. It doesn't matter what you believe in. Even if you're a Christian, you should learn from Buddhists. Even if you're a pagan, you should learn from Islam. I believe that there is an inherent spirituality to every person, and that it's okay if you take your time in discovering it. I believe that there is some sort of energy to everyone and everything, and that we're all connected in some way. Finding our spiritual selves can help give us an enhanced sense of empathy and care. Learning about other religions will teach you how to care for your fellow men and women, and everyone in between. It'll teach you how to love different people and how to appreciate the differences in all of us. As for whether or not I believe in a god or a deity or a higher power, I'm not sure. I would say I believe there has to be something, or at least a spiritual entity or energy. So many religions exist in the world, and so many claim to be the true religion, which doesn't seem logical or true to me. So let me ask a question. There truly is a higher power. There is no way it would be comprehensible to us, and we would only feel it. So why would it be so hard to believe that all religions, in some way, are connected? If you show 15 people an abstract art piece, they're going to have their own interpretations. I would imagine it goes the same for religion. Each person would feel it differently, each person would see it differently. All in all, we need to see each other's views. It is imperative that we understand our beliefs and love our fellow humans, no matter if they're Muslim, Christian, pagan, Buddhist, or literally any other religion. Love all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hope Niles, and this is my credo. Maybe around 10 or 12, I was pressured into Christianity. Living in the Bible Belt in a small city is and was overwhelming. I had doubts about Christianity. Was this really what I believed in? Was this really how I was going to spend the rest of my Sundays? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. I would be told I was going to hell by multiple people and asked to go to church events with my friends. I would never admit that I was leaning towards Buddhism. However, I will admit that now. That feels really good to say. I was first introduced to Buddhism by my uncle and his friend Tom, who are here today. Hi, guys. To me, no one is really a perfect person, let alone someone following Buddhism. I'm a 10 out of 10 Buddhist because I try to see the good in everyone. I'm a 9 out of 10 Buddhist because sometimes I have road rage. I just got my permit. I'm an 8 out of 10 Buddhist because I like to ignore my mindfulness reminders to meditate. I'm a 7 out of 10 Buddhist because I dwell in the past. I understand and believe that everyone does have the good in them and the potential to become a better person. No one will go to hell, and this might seem a little odd, but I like to think that everyone can choose how they rest after dying. After living a life that someone has lived, I feel it's important to honor them how they like to be. Being Cherokee and Potawatomi, it's a strong thing to me that I need to honor my ancestors that came before me in the way they would like to be. This is something I plan to honor for the rest of my life. I believe that Buddhism can save lives, like any religion, truly. When I first walked into the temple for the first time, I was mesmerized and comfortable. By that, I mean almost falling asleep during the 20-minute meditation. Buddhism has showed me that not everything needs to be focused on when there's so many other things in front of you. I struggle the most with anger and resentment. It isn't something you would be punished for, but more rather be punished by. For me, anger is being rude for no reason, being upset for things that are under anyone's control, and having resentment for the smallest things. Resentment is the biggest obstacle for connecting to joy. Joy is the happiest feelings you can feel. For instance, I am and was filled with joy seeing everyone in my coming of age class actually connecting and bonding over the fact of getting up at 4 a.m. and hearing police sirens at 2 a.m. outside our hostel. Coming of age has shown me that not everything I do is weird or annoying. I can tell you that I have matured since coming of age, and I have been getting a little less stressed, and for that I am truly grateful. Thank you.
Hey everyone. My name's Coulter, and this is my credo. I come from a family that is typically more spiritual than religious, so coming of age has expanded my views on what religion and spirituality are. I've made many friends, and my eyes have been opened to how others see the world. I believe that we evolved from nothing into something, not by the will of a God in the sky, but because of the laws of science. We are here to live until death, and nothing in life is promised except death. And I believe it's your choice on what you do with that. When I was young, my dad would tell me the story of the good wolf and the bad wolf. It says that there is a battle between them and all of us, and when the grandson asks who wins, the grandfather replies, the one we feed. We are faced with that decision every day. Because I wasn't raised in the church, I do not consider myself religious. Some people follow their religion because it is the right way to live for them and gives them rules to develop their own moral compass. But just because I'm not religious doesn't mean I don't have my morals. My grandfather has had a major influence on shaping my morals. When I spent time at his house as a kid, I would watch Mr. Rogers, who was one of his heroes. My grandfather reminds me of Mr. Rogers. He has kind eyes, he is calm, and he's able to see the good in most people. Just watching my grandpa and being able to be around him has changed the way I interact with people in my life. I know that we have limited time on earth, but some young people don't realize that. I believe that there is life after death, but I'm not certain what. Most people want to know what happens after death, and for some, religion gives them an answer to that question. Now, I'm not saying that people who believe in heaven or hell are wrong, but to quote Neil deGrasse Tyson, religion tells people what they want to hear, not what they need to know. I don't want to go about life hoping that I will get into heaven. I want to live in the moment, feeding the good wolf. Like Kanye said at the 2005 Grammys, if you have the opportunity to play this game of life, you need to appreciate every moment. A lot of people don't appreciate the moment until it's past. So in conclusion, even though I believe that there is life after death, it may simply be our legacy, and it is your choice on what legacy we leave. Thank you.
Your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. You can give them your love, but not your thoughts. They have their own thoughts. They have their own thoughts. You can house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in a place of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, no, not even in your dreams. You can strive to be like them, but you cannot make them just like you. Strive to be like them, but you cannot make them just like you. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. You can give them your love, but not your thoughts. They have their own strive to be like them, but you cannot make them just like you. Strive to be like them, but you cannot make them just like you.
I am Aaron Gillespie, and this is my credo. Over my years on earth, I've come to find that the idea of one definition of God or religion is simply illogical. I've lived my life seeking things that are factual, confirmed, and consistent. Despite that, I do believe that there is some godlike figure. I believe it doesn't care to interfere in human matters or give laws because I believe that defeats the idea of free will. I believe humans can't perceive God or comprehend it in any way currently known, but I do believe that it exists. I don't have any way to describe God because I don't know where I could possibly start. I don't like to make simple conclusions in a world that desperately needs nuance. I believe that there is something after death because I don't want to live my life worrying about an inevitable nothing. I don't know what to hope for in an afterlife because I would like to focus on the life I currently have. Recently, I've been thinking about the idea of a soul and the sheer fact that I can see, I can hear, I can touch, I can taste. It's something that can't be explained. I'm not a single cell perceiving the world. I'm a combination of millions of cells that work together to create my mind and body. And the fact that I understand my existence is beyond explanation. My consciousness is something that science can't explain to me. I can't simply put it into words.
My name is Margaret Hope Hernandez, and this is my credo. Before coming of age, I only knew All Souls as my polling place. 4 months ago, we first took out our journals and were asked to answer a series of prompts. God is blank. Jesus is blank. People are blank. On January 5th, I answered this. People are of the classification Homo sapiens, descended from apes. Directly underneath, I wrote, people are hateful, in parentheses, inherently. In Boston, I was asked during my first one-on-one guide meeting if I still believed that people were hateful. Right now, I don't believe that people are inherently hateful, but that every person has the capacity to hate and to do hateful things. There is nothing in the world that I see that is more beautiful than people. There is also nothing in the world that I see that is more ugly than people and what people have done. People are able to be cruel and ugly and awful, but people are also able to be loving and kind and beautiful. To be human, I believe you must have the ability to love, but you also, inevitably, do have the ability to hate. Both are two sides of the same coin. The 1990 book Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman first put this idea of the inherent neutrality of humankind in my head. As the character of God says in the novel, it may help to understand human affairs to be clear that most of the great triumphs and tragedies of history are caused not by people being fundamentally good or fundamentally bad, but by people being fundamentally people. I do not believe in God, and I don't like to say that. The phrases I believe or I do not believe make the statement that follows sound like it is up for debate. In my mind, it isn't. God does not exist to me the same way that the sky is blue. No matter how many people tell me that the sky is red or green, if I look outside, it will still be blue. No matter what literature I read or what I am taught, God will never exist. By extension, an afterlife does not exist to me. There is no heaven, no hell, no neutral afterlife where we will all end up. As a child, I tried to believe in an afterlife, in a God, in a fate. It never worked, but I wish it had sometimes. There is a comfort that I will never experience because I will never experience faith. But at the same time, I am autonomous. My decisions, the good and the bad, are truly my decisions. I am responsible for the legacy I will leave behind, for the people I will affect, for my happiness and my sadness. I love the people I love on purpose, not because any God planned it out for me. I am a collection of everyone who I have ever loved and everyone who I have ever lost, but I made me me. That is not something I will ever give up for the belief in a God. While I do know that I will someday die, I also know that I will not be around to miss the life I had. Eventually, all things come to an end, and I plan to live my life focusing not on what will happen after it ends, but what is happening while I am living. I will do as much as I can for as long as I can until I cannot. Just knowing that everything will end should not change our plans when we begin again. Thank you.
My name is Luca Ward, and this is my credo. I believe we have control of our destiny. Whether or not we are created by a higher power, I think we have the ability to shape our lives. I think if a higher power did create us, they wouldn't let us cause pain or destruction. That being said, I believe humans shouldn't be described in blanket terms. We are far too complex to be called good or bad. We cause pain, but we also heal. And we destroy, but we also create. I don't want to spend my life worrying about death. Many people dwell on the idea of death and dread it for their whole life. I think it's a waste of time. I want to work to leave a lasting positive impact on the world and bring comfort to those around me. Above all things, I believe in ever-changing belief. The idea of people sticking to one set of beliefs for their whole life is foreign to me. At the moment, I'm agnostic, but as I encounter more in my life, that may change. Religions have a lot to give. In Boston, I learned at the First Church of Christian Science that religion can even help people through physical hardship. I am independent, though. I don't need a higher force to enlighten me or bring me comfort. I find comfort in my loved ones, and I find enlightenment in the people I choose to surround myself with. I believe I've had an amazing life so far. I often take for granted how fortunate I am. The mistakes I've made have made me into a better person overall. I'm so happy that I've met so many loving and accepting people who've let me be myself and not judged me for my issues. I think everyone deserves compassion no matter what they've done, and I want to be less judging of people and become a more loving person. I hope we can all become more loving people. Thank you.
My name is Starling, and this is my credo. I grew up in a witchy spiritual house, and I didn't believe in anything religious. I didn't know what religion was. Well, I knew that Christians went to church and believed in something called a God. I wasn't sure what it was, and I didn't know about other religions. I remember in elementary school, I would always ask my friends about their crosses and would hear them talking about Sunday school and the Bible. I've thought since I was little that the earth or Mother Nature was God. And by that, I think everything on the earth came from the earth, and we're all connected to it. I don't think I could believe in a God or religion, and I'm not fully sure why. I don't think something could have so much power as we say God has. But I am open to the possibility that there could be something more, as in any God or religion. I think we are all just existing and making choices for how our life goes. We were given this life to change the world, even if we're just living. I've never felt the need or want to believe in something like a God. I do think religion is a beautiful thing. And even though I don't believe in a God or religion, I will always wonder if there is a God or something more. Thank you.
My name is Alyssa.
Get right in there.
Okay. My name is Alyssa Self, and this is my credo. Henry David Thoreau says that goodness is the only investment that never fails. We should help one another whenever we can. Who knows? Maybe that person that you helped 5, 10 years ago, they'll see you and they'll say, "You helped me. Now let me help you." That person you helped can go on to help others. It's not about helping because someone is looking, and it's not about helping because you might get a reward. It is about helping because you are capable. It is about helping because you truly care. And it is about helping because you want to make life a little easier for someone else. I believe love is vital. Love can make you feel like your life has meaning. Love can make you feel so many things. It can help, it can heal, it can bring people together, and it can save lives. I love music. I believe, for me, that music is a form of expression. Expression is important. I play many instruments. I play any string orchestra instrument. I play piano, and I sing in our church choir. I don't believe in God. The God that sits on the clouds in the sky is not my God. But I believe in his teachings. I believe that the Bible is important. Jesus teaches that you should love yourself before you love others. That if you don't love yourself, if you don't respect yourself, it doesn't matter if anyone else does. I believe love is powerful. Love saved my life.
Let's get that right there. Okay. Alrighty. My name is Seb, and this is my credo. How to find meaning in a world where nothing lasts? A question I spent some time trying to figure out, but I think I got it down pretty well now. To find meaning in a world where nothing lasts is to make changes that last longer than you. Change is constant, change is the truth. We are all here because of change. When I was around 9 or 10, I asked my dad what he thought was going to happen when he died, and he said nothing. How boring. But then he elaborated. When you die, I think the people you know keep you alive in a way by remembering you so your spirit lives on. I agree completely. I don't know if there is a God or a higher power, but I do know that the people I love and care about exist. And all the people that care about me can make sure that the changes I've made go on and live. So I guess you could say I believe in humanity and the knowledge and love they carry. The love that people carry is far stronger than the hate. Love can sometimes bring us together. Love gives meaning to life. Sometimes all people need to know is that they are loved by someone, that they are not alone. This is why I believe in love. The knowledge that my parents and loved ones tell me and show me keeps me at ease. It keeps me grounded. When I am shown knowledge, it inspires me to act on the things I want to make happen, to make my impact on the world much stronger. Maya Angelou once said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Legacy is my meaning. I want to leave the world a better place than when I came into it.
thank you all who just shared your credos and the 9 who shared yours in the earlier service. I think you can see the diversity of belief that are among this class. There were also at the first service, for those who weren't here, there were 3 who identified as Christian. There were different forms of ideas about God and the universe and nature. And you can just see how tight this class is and how cooperative they are and how much they love and care about each other, even though they have different beliefs and different ways of answering these ultimate questions. And I just have to say that if the rest of the world and the rest of our country were more like you and could get along across our differences, we'd have a much better place to live. You know, if you've ever been on a road trip and one person wanted to control the radio the whole time, they were like, you're going to listen to my music and only my music, and you need to, if you don't like it, I'm sorry, because I'm going to play my music this whole road trip. That's kind of how religious fundamentalism is. They're like, this is my religion, this is what I believe, and I want everybody else to believe like I believe. But we have here a different way of being faithful and following our values and our path. The last part of this, or not the last part of the ritual, but the part of the ritual that includes the whole congregation is the commissioning. And so we did the whole thing at the earlier service. So we're just going to do the part, if you look in the middle of your program, and it should be on the screen as well if you're online, just the part of the congregation says to these young people and their response. This is us inviting them into the covenant of the church now that they're at this age and prepared to understand the covenant and live by it, and to welcome them into that covenant and for them to accept that. So with that, I would invite first our coming of age class to rise and turn toward the congregation. And then I would invite all of you who are gathered here, because I know you fit into some part of this commissioning, to please rise and join us in the words of the congregation that are printed in your bulletin. And I'll get us started, and we'll read it together. We welcome you into the fellowship of all souls. We have watched you grow in body, mind, and spirit. We recognize the hard work and reflection that has brought you to this day and salute your accomplishments. We invite you to join us in our covenant. Let us applaud these young people for their wonderful work that they have done. You may be seated.
Proud of you. Proud of the questions you carry, the journey ahead of you, the courage it takes to grow. Know this, young people, know this, that this community, we love you, and we will walk with you, and we'll surround you with community. You have us. We got your backs. Know this. And for our transitions today, heartfelt condolences to member LaDonna Boyd on the loss of her mother, Laverne Bagwell Powell, who died March 31st. Condolences to the family of the late Bishop Carlton Pearson on the death of his mother, Lily Ruth Pearson, who passed away April 3rd. And we hold space today for Barbara Glass and family on the loss of her husband, Ronald Glass, who died March 31st. And we hold space today for the families affected by the last week's tornado in Owasso. May we each find the strength we need in the hour that it is needed most. As we enter now into a moment of silence, may we continue to hold each other in our thoughts and intentions.
So to our coming of age class, we gave you a white rose, a boutonniere, and this is, as Shannon said earlier, we use the white rose to bless the children and the babies that we dedicate into the life of this congregation when they're small. Some of you went through that, some of you didn't, but even in a symbolic way, we give you a rose today. Now, this rose, the rose that we use for the children, we make sure they take off all of the thorns. Because we give it to the child afterward, and the baby, they're holding on to it, sucking on it, or whatever they do. And we don't want them to get hurt. But your rose, although I don't think we were able to find them, it's become harder to find boutonnieres with thorns on them anymore. But the idea, at least symbolically, is that these roses that you have their thorns still on them. Because you're now have come of age, and you recognize we can't protect you from the thorns of life, from the things that might hurt you or harm you. And so this is part of why in all cultures across time, people have taken their young people at your stage of life to help you become clear about who you are and what you believe, because we can't protect you anymore. You're going to have to be guided by your own moral compass. And we see, as we saw today, that you have a moral compass. You're clear. You know who you are. Maybe your friends are saying something that they want you to do, or other adults. But if you stay true to what you believe and what you know is right and wrong, we know that you'll be okay in the years ahead. And when you struggle or have difficulty, as we sang earlier, as Corey so lovely, such lovingly and dramatically sang earlier, call us. If you need somebody, you call us, and we'll be there to help you before you step into a car with somebody who's been drinking or do something that you feel is unsafe. Know that you can call your parents, of course, but you also can call one of us if you need to, because we want you to know that we will always love you and we will always do our best to protect you. But on this Sunday every year, and you've heard this before, but I want to make sure that the congregation hears this, I bring my sword. Because the sword in mythology and other things is a symbol of wisdom. It's a symbol of wisdom because if you have the power over life and death, you need to have some wisdom. You don't just hand a sword to a baby, right? So if you're going to hand somebody something that has that kind of power, you want them to know who they are and to know how and when to use such power. You now are at the age in your life where you can, or soon will be able to create a life. That's a huge, probably the biggest responsibility any of us ever have. And so that's why we lead you to get clear on who you are so that you can navigate this part of your life in a way that's safe and whole and helps you and any new life that you may create. And also you're going to be getting into cars. Your generation, because we had right here in one of our local high schools at Holland Hall, we had a car crash. 2 students died just in the last 6 weeks or so. And there were 3 in the car, the driver and 2 others, and they were racing, having fun. It was nighttime, weekend, or it wasn't even a weekend. But they were having a good time and going too fast, and she lost control of her car, and 2 of her friends died. You may know the families. You may know the children. They can't get those lives back. Those families are devastated, the community devastated, and the girl who was driving is now facing 2 counts of manslaughter in the courts because she was responsible for 2 deaths. 3 lives were lost. 3 lives changed forever, and a whole family and a whole community changed forever. You're going to be driving soon. Driving a car is an incredible responsibility. Whether you text or get distracted on your phone, changing the music, whether you choose to do that or you're smart and you put your phone down when you're driving and you don't let yourself be distracted, or drink or take drugs or get in a car with someone else who has, or speed, decide to race and have fun, and then things get out of control. So you are at that stage in your life where all of us who are here have, at least those of us older than 14, we've been through it, and we know what it's like. And so in just a moment, when you come up to sign the book, the 9 of you who spoke, you're going to come up and sign the book that coming of agers for decades have signed in this community, to add your name to the covenant of this church. I'm going to ask you to just hold the sword for a moment, and I want you to just really feel the weight of it, not just the physical weight, but also the weight of the responsibility that you're taking on. You're no longer a child. You are now entering the next phase of your life. Say goodbye to childhood, because it's over. Now, if you look around, we can be like children throughout our lives in many ways. Right? Corey Smith, our youth director, being a great example. No, I hope I'm a great example too, that we keep the child within us. But as we take on more responsibility, we know when to be a child, when to let that part of ourselves be free, and when we have to take more responsibility and sometimes make the hard decisions to say no to our friends, or to say no to ourselves, or even to adults in our lives. We trust you. We see you. We love you. And just know that more and more in this world, young people and people of all ages don't have communities that love them and embrace them and are here for them, but you do. And there's something really special about that. So thank you for helping nurture this community in the years ahead. And just keep being you. Be true to yourself and know that we're here with you all the time. I welcome you to come forward and sign our book. For those who are on Zoom, I hope you'll stick around and talk with each other, share what this Sunday has meant to you. If you're here, we've got cake in Emerson Hall and other refreshments in a bookstore and other things, but we hope you'll greet each other and enjoy a little celebration. It's a celebratory time. And also, if you're here for the very first time in the Sonnen Library, just out the door to your left, we've got folks there to answer questions that you might have about All Souls, although I realize you probably know more about All Souls after this service than most people do. And also, if you're ready to join the covenant of All Souls yourself, want to become a member, we do have a joining class in about 15 minutes up in room 203, and we've got folks there to welcome you, answer your questions. If you're thinking about joining, you just want to come and learn about it, you're welcome to come as well. And now, before our coming of age class shares our benediction, I do want to say that when I was their age, and I went through this ceremony years ago in Illinois, outside of Chicago, I remember that a couple of my father's friends came up to me and greeted me and said what I said, what it meant to them. And it really, I still remember their words. I still remember the warmth of their handshake and it truly, it changed something within me to hear those words from someone who knew my dad, respected my dad. And I just want to say, if any of these young people have touched you in some way, or you know them and their family, to be sure to greet them and also their parents and tell them what a great job they've done as you leave the service today. And now with that, the final word will come from the coming of age class of 2025.
We have come of age at All Souls, a community which recognizes in all prophets a harmony, in all scriptures a unity, and in all humanity interconnectedness, which seeks truth and freedom, justice and love, and service to humanity. We pledge ourselves to the spirit of this church. Go and be blessed and be a blessing.